Great, so now that we've got our component for creating new users created, and we have the ability to toggle back and forth between the dashboard and the create new user component, let's actually go ahead now and start working on our form. So we'll go back to our code editor here. And under user manager, we're going to go ahead and start creating a form. Okay, so we'll start out with form. We don't actually need the form item in here, but form-group.row. We're just going to start adding some of the elements that we need, or basically columns that we need for data that we need to insert into our columns in our database. So this in here is typically how I will build out an inline form. What we need to add here, first of all, is a name for the user. And then we'll need to add an input in here as well. And that's going to be form-group. And we're going to also put in v-model. So v-model is how we run our binding here. And that will be data.name. And this will make a little more sense to you as we go on. It shouldn't be v-group, sorry. It should be form-control. Perfect. Now we'll go ahead, we'll write a couple more of these. I'm going to copy that, and we're going to go down, and the next one we're going to put in here is the email. Pardon me, email. That will be email, and we'll let our browser do some of our own validation here as to whether or not it is an email. The next thing we'll have to put in here is a role. So is it going to be a user, or is it going to be an administrator? So now we need to add a select item. And this one will be vModel equals data.role. And we don't need this or this, so we'll get rid of that. And we'll add an option in here. And our default option or value is going to be user. Okay, so I'll type in user there. Create another one, which will be admin. And this actually has to be a string that we're passing through, right? So we have user, we have admin, and that's for our roles. And then we're also going to want to create a password for them. .row. And so this one's going to be to create the password. .column-3. So we'll say password .column-9, and we will make that an input type of password, and we're going to say v-model will be data.password, and the class that we're going to send through is going to be form-control. Okay, so we have that in there now, and now what we need to do is we need to add a confirm password. There's other ways we can go about doing this, like we could send out a link to them that says, hey, set up your password, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to assume for now this is something that's strictly managed by the administrator, and if they want to go in afterwards, we'll give them the ability to reset their password. And we'll do that using a very handy little function that's already created in Laravel as part of the user's object or model. So again, input type is going to be password. Then v-model equals data.confirm_password. And that will be, of course, .form-control. Okay. Okay, so we're good to go there on that one. Now we're going to create a script tag here at the bottom. And export default. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create the data that we're now putting into our form. So that all makes sense. So let's go return, and we'll say it needs to be data. And then in data, we're going to have name For now, that's going to look like that. Email, and we need to do role as well. And we need password. And we're also going to need confirm password. Okay. Perfect. One last thing we're going to add in here. Well, two little things we're going to add in here. One, we need to do methods. So we need something to happen when we actually submit our form, which, by the way, in here, we're going to need a button to actually submit that. So we're going to create a button with button primary, and then this is going to be create user. And the method we want to fire when we click on this, first of all, we do want to prevent this because we don't want our form submitting to nowhere. And this is going to be basically going to go to the store user method that we're going to create down here. So store user function, and all we're going to do is console log this dot data to see what's coming through. So this very simply is our create user form. In here we can see it compiles successfully for now. So let's see what this looks like. We'll go ahead, I'll go back to user over here. Okay, great, it looks okay. I think I want to just clean up this a little bit though. Just below the H3, I want to put a horizontal rule. Let's see what that looks like now. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. I might come back here, make this bold, might increase the font size, but as it sits right now, this is perfectly fine. One other thing I'm going to add in here so it defaults to user is the vModelData.role. I'm going to put user in here. Now, what you're going to notice is when I refresh this and I go back to user, user automatically populates as our first one. We obviously don't want it populating as an admin right off the bat. So that is that. Now let's fill out some of the data in here. I'm going to push F12 to open up my console. And some of the data we want to add is going to be, so we'll say Tyson London 1. We'll say Tyson 1 at Tyson.com, role of user, and then password. We'll go like this, create user, and we'll see what came through. Confirm password, email, name, password, role. All of that matches like we have up here. So we know the data is correctly binded to their proper data attributes. And now we can go ahead and actually submit this to the back end, configure our routes. We'll use Axios to do that, and that's what we will take care of in the next video.